plot to kill Putin, and cute winter boots. It's 5 and 10 from Skywatch TV. 5 things you need to know in about 10 minutes for Thursday, January 30th, 2025. I'm Derek Gilbert. Item number 5 today, the Trump Doctrine. They may be naming one after him after the way he responded to the refusal of Colombia's President Gustavo Petro, to refuse repatriation flights, returning illegal migrants from the U.S. to Colombia. We told you about that earlier this week. Turns out that President Petro had reneged on an agreement to accept those flights, telling the United States after he'd agreed to take them that, changed my mind, we're not going to take them now. Well, that's when President Trump immediately threatened a 25% tariff on Colombian products that would double within a week unless Petro backed down. Also slapping sanctions on high-ranking members of the government of Colombia. Well, President Petro did, in fact, back down. He rage posted to X a rant about imperialism and racism. But Trump, clearly willing to use power and willing to be feared rather than liked in order to promote his America First agenda. Willing to remind countries in Latin America or Ibero-America, Spanish descendants who govern the countries in Central and South America, that they are essentially junior partners in what happens in the Western Hemisphere. The point of this exercise is that Trump proved how serious he is about leveraging tariffs and sanctions to accomplish his America First agenda, basically making an example of President Petro that, look, you are not going to be dealing with the United States the way you did under the Biden administration. We will be using whatever power we have in our office to accomplish our stated ends. Now, Trump was reelected basically on a promise to secure the southern border and expel as many illegals as possible if voters returned him to office. We did, and he is in the first week or so of his office trying to make good on that promise. Now, obviously, it'll be very difficult to return all 11 million, the estimated number that entered the country illegally under Joe Biden. But what the president is trying to do is by making it clear that those who enter the country illegally will not have a pleasant time being returned to their home countries on military flights in handcuffs, that as many of them as possible will choose to self-deport rather than risk that treatment. And oh yes, woe unto those countries that try to refuse taking them back. Topic number 4, exploding heads. We're seeing those all over Washington, D.C. as President Trump signs executive orders to try to accomplish what he promised to do, to streamline and make the U.S. government efficient, working for the American people again instead of for the bureaucrats. Back in December, then President-elect Trump warned federal employees that they would have to come back to working in the office because according to studies that came out last year, more than 90% of them are still allowed under COVID-era rules to telework, to work from home, which is nice work if you can get it, but it also means you're not subject to the kind of oversight that most of us who have worked in offices have had to enjoy. So the Trump administration sent out a memo Tuesday afternoon offering to pay federal workers who don't want to return to the office essentially a buyout, an 8-month severance payout through September 30th. The buyout would be offered to all 2 million federal workers. One senior administration official says that they expect 5 to 10% of the federal workforce to take the deal, to quit, which could lead to saving about $100 billion in our tax money. Now, of course, heads are exploding. How dare he do this? Well, look, if they don't want to come back to the office and they're getting an 8-month buyout, okay, look, just stay home through September. We'll pay you through September. You get an 8-month buyout. You don't have to work. That's a pretty sweet deal. And frankly, it's a much better deal than they would get in the private sector if they refused to return to work when the boss told them that they had to do it. But of course, the bureaucracy, the deep state, is there to protect the bureaucracy and not to work on behalf of us, the American people. Meanwhile, Democratic senators put on a show in Congress Wednesday night. This was a parade of complaints or actually Tuesday night, a parade of complaints on the Senate floor about the pause in federal grants and aid money that's been announced by executive order while the Trump administration figures out what money is really worth spending. It's estimated that this pause would freeze up to about $3 trillion in federal grants and loans. Democratic lawmakers on Capitol Hill on Tuesday blasted it, and again, a parade of Democrat senators taking to the Senate floor to read speeches into the record, go on tape that they could, then post to social media, showing their constituents that they were fighting for them. Senators Durbin, Baldwin, Kaine, Blumenthal, all reading not really very inspirational speeches. Senator Kaine of Virginia did a pretty good job with his off-the-cuff remarks, but the others were pretty flat, didn't really look like their hearts were in it. But it was, past 7 p.m. East Coast time, and I'm sure that they would rather have been, having dinner at the club or whatever. Senator Blumenthal of Connecticut, actually, as he was reading, they were going through this laundry list of things that were being paused, public transportation and critical medical research, and won't someone think of the children, which was really the appeal that they were making, trying to play on our sympathies. But Senator Blumenthal, as he read through this speech, was going through a list and then trying to emphasize to us that this is really serious. He wasn't making things up. He said, "This is not hyperbole." And I laughed out loud because the word is hyperbole. Like the old joke, if I told you once, I told you a million times, stop using hyperbole. But he literally read the word as hyperbole. So what is that, the next level after the Super Bowl? It's the hyperbole? Now look, we all make mistakes. I speak off the cuff typically. I work from notes, but I ad lib. And the other day I referred to outbound flights as outboard flights, which brings to mind the image of somebody trying to start up the Evinrude on the back of a commercial jet. So, okay, I'm not perfect. But again, I'm not reading my speech either. And how you get to your 7th decade of life without knowing that word is hyperbole instead of hyperbole, I don't know. Anyway, the pause in federal funding has in turn been paused by a federal judge. We'll see how this power struggle in D.C. plays out. Topic number 3, RFK Jr. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the man who could end the incestuous relationship between Big Pharma and the federal government, is in the firing line. He's in the lion's den, as it were, sitting through a hearing at the Senate Committee on Finance, which oversees the Department of Health and Human Services, which Kennedy has been nominated to head up. Today, Thursday, Kennedy, a former Democrat and independent presidential candidate, will attend a forum hosted by the Senate Committee on Health, Education, and Labor Pensions. It will be interesting to see whether this nomination gets passed. Now, Republicans do hold a 53-47 edge in the United States Senate, but we will see how many Republicans are more loyal to Big Pharma than to their president. Topic number 2, Putin. Did the Biden administration actually have a plan to assassinate Vladimir Putin? Tucker Carlson said so this week on his program during an interview with journalist Matt Taibbi. He said that he had heard about this from inside information. He claimed that former Secretary of State Antony Blinken had pushed for a real war with Russia, which is evident from the way we've been supporting Ukraine, trying to provoke Russia into an open shooting war, and that the Biden administration tried to or sought to kill Putin. Now, he didn't give any details or any evidence. Last February, Carlson went to Russia and interviewed Vladimir Putin. We don't know if Putin maybe told him something that Carlson has been kind of keeping in the back of his mind. What do we make of this? I don't know. The Russian government on Tuesday responded to the Carlson interview. Statements were cryptic and vague, didn't make any specific responses about any particular plot or anything like that. But frankly, having spoken to some contractors who served overseas and had to deal with Ivy League educated giant brains who think they're smarter than the rest of us, but don't really think through the real world consequences of these grand plans that they create, I hate to say this, but I would not be surprised if what Carlson said was true. Coming up, cute winter boots. What does that phrase mean? Not what you think.
You can support the ministry of Skywatch TV and our continued efforts to share the gospel of Jesus Christ throughout the four corners of the world and receive your very own copy of this incredible masterpiece when you order The World Before the Flood special offer. Not only does this incredible opportunity include Rick Renner's new book, Fallen Angels, Giants, Monsters, and the World Before the Flood, how the events of Noah's Ark and the flood are relevant to the end of the age, but it also includes the best-selling book, Giants, Gods, and Dragons, Exposing the Fallen Realm and the Plot to Ignite the Final War of the Ages by Derek and Sharon Gilbert with companion DVD. This incredible book and DVD set reveals the actual identities of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, the identity of Nimrod, and the true location of Babel. Why the wild beasts that accompany the deadly rider on the pale horse might actually be disease-causing viruses, and so much more. Sold separately, these items hold a retail value of nearly $100. Yours now for your donation of only $45, which includes free shipping to all U.S. orders. So don't delay. You can support the ministry of Skywatch TV and help us continue spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ right now by scanning the QR code on your screen using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity. You can visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for The World Before the Flood special offer right now.
Item number one today, cute winter boots. Deranged leftists on TikTok apparently using that phrase to get around the algorithms on TikTok aimed at flagging and basically censoring violent content. According to ex-user Ashley St. Clair, leftists on TikTok are organizing to disguise themselves, protest, and perhaps even commit acts of violence against Trump and his administration, against CEOs, against cis people, meaning those of us who understand there are just, two genders, under the phrase cute winter boots. When you see that phrase, apparently they're using it to hide themselves from the algorithm. Some organizers calling this project Mayhem 2025, using keywords like Taylor Swift to get more views, and then actually rolling out videos on the platform that are aimed at destabilizing the United States of America. Cute winter boots, like those educated in the Ivy League, go into government. They're not as clever as they think they are. This week on Skywatch TV, we are talking about the world before the flood. Rick Renner shares evidence that a site in Turkey that's been known about for some time, new evidence that really suggests that it is, in fact, the final resting place of Noah's Ark. It has been found. He convinced us, and we'd like you to see the evidence as well. The book, well worth getting. Special offer at the Skywatch TV store. Watch the program right now at skywatchtv.com. All of our video content is there. Our over-the-air broadcast schedule is posted at skywatchtv.com/channels. You can also catch it right now on our set-top box, Skywatch TV's channel for Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV. Make sure you've got that channel added to your set-top box. That brings all of our video content right to your big screen. Now, if you watch over the internet, you can get it at YouTube at Skywatch Television. Subscribe, share, click that bell for notifications, hit the like button, and also rumble.com/SkywatchTV. You can also catch it right now on our mobile app. In other words, bring it right into your mobile device, smartphone or tablet, whether it's iOS, Android, or Amazon Kindle Fire. We've got an app for that, and links to their app stores at skywatchtv.com/app. 5 in 10 online. You'll find us at YouTube at 5 in 10. Subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, hit the like button, and please follow us on X at 5_in_10. And thank you for watching. As we keep watch, I'm Derek Gilbert. This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.